Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. Welcome to the Connecting with Coincidence radio show with Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, bringing together the world's synchronicity experts to help you use meaningful coincidences to develop spiritually, psychologically, and practically. For more information, put Connecting with Coincidence into your web browser to find the book, website, Psychology Today blog, YouTube channel, and Facebook page. And now, here is the host of the Connecting with Coincidence radio show, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD.
Hello out there. We are, yes, Connecting with Coincidence. I am your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and I'm very happy to tell you that coincidence studies is becoming even more of a real thing than it is on our radio show. In London, this September 5th and 6th, there will be the first meeting of the Serendipity Society. Yeah, you heard me, the Serendipity Society. And this is an aggregation of academics from around the world coming together to understand how serendipity happens, how it can be increased, and just what does it mean. Serendipity has many meanings, and my job will be at the end of the conference, the end of the two-day conference. I will talk about the differences and similarities between synchronicity and serendipity. They have overlaps and they are part of the study of coincidence, but serendipity differs somewhat in the sense that there is something positive that comes out almost every time. You stumble across something and there it is useful to you. Synchronicity has some broader meanings and often has to do with psychological and interpersonal development. The idea that this conference is taking place over 2 days at the City College of London heralds what I'm seeing as a continuing interest and development of the study of coincidences. And part of our study of coincidences is to talk with Scott Taylor, who's currently the president, executive director of the Monroe Institute. TMI is a leading institute in the exploration of consciousness, and I'm glad to say it's right near Charlottesville, Virginia. And Scott has given me a wonderful tour of the place, and I hope to go back. The Monroe Institute was founded by Bob Monroe, a pioneer in out-of-body experiences and consciousness research. Dr. Taylor has been a trainer for the Institute since 1985 and was named Executive Director in March of this year. He first came to TMI as a result of having had a shared, now I said shared, death experience. This is a remarkable experience, not often described, but more and more we'll hear about it. As someone is going through the dying process, someone close to that person experiences what the dying person is going through. Most recently, Dr. Taylor was small business management faculty at South Central College in Minnesota. He retired after 20 years and numerous teaching awards. Prior to his academic career, Dr. Taylor was president of Brett's Department Stores based out of Mankato, Minnesota. Brett's had 17 stores in 2 states, and I'm also proud to say my father was a manager of a 5 and 10 in Newark, Delaware. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thanks, Bernie. Glad to be here. I love that retail connection. Thank you.
Yeah, when I go to Target, it reminds me of going to my father's store. I used to do the inventory during Christmas holidays, and I worked behind the fountain, so I have some idea about what you were dealing with. It's a great experience to be in retail.
And what I remember most about Five and Dimes was you'd walk in and they all had wood floors.
They all had wood floors.
And they all kind of creaked as you walked through the store. It was a wonderful time in our history, sadly now gone.
Yeah, it's been replaced by the big boxes. We're talking about some coincidences, Scott, and one of my favorite ones from you was still as we were leaving your wonderful tour of TMI. You were talking to me about a bird, and I think we saw the bird sitting on a roof. And tell me about you and the bird at TMI.
Well, it was one of those things. I was the new president and executive director of the Monroe Institute, and in the morning, I would arrive and taking this brick pathway from the parking lot into my office. I heard this call, and I went, huh, that's really interesting. And it called again, and I went, oh, that's a cardinal. So I just kind of whistled back to it, and it whistled to me, and it was just like this wonderful greeting. Welcome to the Monroe Institute. Well, after a couple of days of this, I finally located this bird, and it wasn't a cardinal at all. It was a mockingbird, and it had just picked up another call, but it was one of those lovely things where this bird would, when it saw me come into the parking lot, would fly up and land on the roof, and we would have this little conversation back and forth as I walked from the parking lot to my office, and we would call to each other, and it was just like one of those wonderful ways to start your day as you're starting a new job.
And the Monroe Institute has such a wonderful vibration around it out there in the hills of south of Charlottesville. And there's something else that happens there. And when I was going to visit a friend of mine in Cortez Island in British Columbia, and as I was turning into his driveway, a large raven started cawing, and right at the driveway to almost tell me this is where you make your turn, because it was down a wooded road. And as we walked down the long driveway to his house, 3 other ravens were hopping in front of us as if they were leading the way to this guy's house. And birds are part of our environment, and they seem to like to interact with us, at least some of them. And that's what both our stories can tell us.
It's true. In fact, I had one just over this weekend. I was one of the things that I've been privileged to do is be an officiant at my niece's and nephew's wedding. And I was working on the order of service for a wedding that I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks. And I look up, and for the first time that I've been in Virginia, there is a hummingbird that is sitting right outside the window and just looking at me intently. Like I said, I've never seen one before, and I take real notice when that happens. And so I went on to animalspeaks.com and looked up, what are the traits of hummingbirds, and it's love, happiness, and long life. And I thought it was so appropriate for what I was doing. And the first time that I saw this, so it was another one of those nice heart connections with birds. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, TMI is a special place, and people come to it all over the world. But tell us about the coincidence involving your need for a cook.
Oh, yeah. So the Monroe Institute operates 2 retreat centers here in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. And we've got each of the retreat centers has about 25 beds, and we hold week-long workshops. And, of course, when you have a residential facility, you need to have a cook, somebody who can really do a nice job for both those retreat centers. Well, we had a lovely woman who Southern hospitality kind of cooking, and people loved coming here because of it. And she retired. And I'm looking all over for people who would be interested in doing this kind of work in a retreat center that's dedicated to the expansion of consciousness. And so, somebody who would get it. Well, about 8 weeks in, we have a program called the Law of Attraction. And I'm up there visiting the participants, and one of them comes up to me and says, "Hey, I hear you need an executive cook." And I went, "Yeah, I do. Why? You know somebody?" And he goes, "Well, me, because I'm a recently retired executive cook, and I'm driving my wife crazy being around the house, and I would love to come and help you out on an interim basis and get things squared away so when you hire a new person, they'll be up and running and ready to go. And in fact, I'll even help you hire one, because it takes a special talent to look at what's on the resume and know whether or not they can cook the kind of food that you're trying to do." And he's been on board now for 2 weeks. The food is fabulous, and some might even say rave-worthy. And I am just so blessed that he is here, and I'm really rather taken aback that we would have this coincidence that would happen. Some would say serendipity, because I needed a cook, he's at a cook, and it was at our program called Law of Attraction, which talks about everything that you're really interested in on this show.
Yeah, the Law of Attraction has gotten a lot of different views of it. The book was very popular, Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, and it's gotten out into the population as at least the most basic part of it. You just think of it and it's going to happen. But let's talk more about that, how you think about, and Monroe Institute thinks about, the Law of Attraction as we've come to the end of this segment. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence. I'm your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and we are talking on the X Zone Broadcast Network, and we're talking with Scott Taylor.
We seem to be able to communicate telepathically without being in the same room. Whoa, whoa.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
This psychosphere is our mental atmosphere. Just as we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Breathe in ideas.
Yes, that's about the psychosphere, a song about the psychosphere, our mental atmosphere. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence. I'm your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and we are talking with Scott Taylor, and we're going to get into what we mean by the law of attraction. And Scott, how has the Monroe Institute modified, I'd suggest, what the secret introduced to this world?
I think that it goes back to what we've discovered here at the Institute about what we are as human beings, that we not only have consciousness that exists here in the physical world, but we also have consciousness that exists in all other dimensions simultaneously. So not only are we aware of what is happening here, but we can shift our awareness to expanded states of awareness, and there are many. And when we do that, we are able then to, in these expanded states, at these higher vibrational states, be able to put out an intention, to put out what it is that we would like to have in our lives. And when we have these requests that we would like to have manifest in our lives, and we put them out in a state of higher vibration, those are they're more effective when we're in these vibrational states. They are it's like everything is speeded up. When we're dealing here in the physical world, everything is slowed down a little bit. So we can put out an intention, but it's by the time it comes back to us, it can be a long time later. Put that same intention out in a state of higher awareness, in a state of higher vibrational level, it happens much more quickly, and so it's speeded up.
And I imagine it's more effective also in higher vibration levels.
Yes,
more likely to could make it happen.
And one of the things we know is that there's some techniques that we can do that will improve what it is that we would like to have happen. For instance, it's really helpful to, if we can, to stay away from using language. If we can picture ourselves in a scene. Let's take something really, really simple, like I want that parking lot in front of Dollar General, and I don't want to walk all the way across. Well, you can picture that parking lot. You can picture pulling into that space. You can know that it's the one right in front of the door, and you can visualize it. You understand it. Poof, and you let it go. Well, by avoiding language, we avoid the misunderstandings that sometimes can happen. We can picture it, and it has a much higher likelihood of coming into fruition. Here's what I mean by avoiding language. We know that if you come out there and say, I want to park right in front of the store, the universe will give you exactly what you ask. When you say, I want to go to this blank parking space, you will get exactly that. You will get the wanting. And instead of the parking place. So there is it's really helpful to avoid using language that exists in time, because when we are practicing and when we're using this kind of law of attraction, it exists outside of time and space. And if you say, I want this parking spot, it tends not to happen. If you visualize yourself in the parking spot, that tends to work better. So there are tools that we can use to help increase what happens and how often it can happen.
And once you develop an image, what about the necessity to imbue that image with emotion?
Mm-hmm. Key component. We find that if there is emotion that is hooked with that image, much more likely for it to be to become real. And if it's something that's really important to you, and it's easy for you to picture yourself doing this thing that you want to do, it's like you begin to resonate with that experience that has already happened.
Yeah. Much of what you've said, and I think, as I understand, for other people too, it's about the individual, or maybe an individual with somebody else, imagining and influencing the creation of an outcome. As everybody who pays attention knows, our world is in increasingly greater crisis, that humanity is destroying its environment, and is going to lead to, it looks like, loss of lots of lives, and not just humans, but animals and plants. So I wonder how what you just described, the ability to imagine and imbue with emotion, how that can help reverse the course, change the course of the history we seem to be headed towards.
Yeah, and again, it makes a difference by putting yourself into the situation. So that would be, I'm walking through a woods that is pristine and healthy and is at one with the ecosystem. So there is this sense of I am in this place and everything is just fine. And so we are creating this scenario that we would love to be in, and that we have found is the way to be more successful than to take like a broader perspective, to put yourself in the situation, so then it's really easy to add that emotional component.
Put yourself in a specific situation. For example, maybe like walking in the Amazon and parts of the Amazon, and thinking something like, this is pristinely beautiful, and it somehow that will help stop people from coming in and cutting down the trees.
Or even to reverse things, to picture yourself, well, right now the Amazon's on fire. So to picture a rain coming and stopping the fire that's taking place right now, or to nurture the young trees as they grow up after the fire or after cutting. You can pick all kinds of scenarios, but yes, that's the idea, is to place yourself in that situation and envision with as much detail as you can what you would like to see happen.
Well,
I'm talking about, creating this image in your mind that has you can feel what it's like to walk along a path, and you can smell the flowers and the trees, and you can feel the humidity and the wind on your face. So we're bringing in all of the senses as well as the emotion.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
And the people who are cutting down those trees also have a vision of the future that they have a lot of emotional investment in, because they're going to make money on it. So that's a contradiction, a conflicting set of images that we're talking about now, using the Amazon as an example.
Yes, and okay, so this is my personal preference. I always think that love wins out in the end. And so if we bring love into that situation, or a deep sense of caring about what you would like to have happen, and then as always, it's like, what is the best for all concerned here? And maybe that will influence their outlook on life and their ability to take in new information that may contradict what it is that they believe about their world at that moment.
They just want more money and power to people who are then organizing people to cut down the trees and to set the place on fire. I think we have the makings of a potential experiment where yes, I hope love wins out, but greed and financial gain is pretty strong too. And to be able to pit these forces against each other, it becomes a conflict, is something that I'd like to be able to see maybe research, just what you were talking about. We're coming to the end of this segment. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence. I'm your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD. We are on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. We are talking with Scott Taylor, the CEO of the Monroe Institute.
We are really meant to be. We seem to be able to communicate telepathically without being in the same room. Whoa, whoa.
How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hyde's life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Her grandfather thought she could find a pen pal by writing her address on the label with the message, "Please return to Laura Baxter," and released it on a helium balloon. England, Staffordshire, June 2001. A 10-year-old who really needs a friend. 10 days later in Wiltshire, her balloon is found.
Yes, this is CC with BB, and that was a story of the two Lauras, Laura Buxtons, who 140 miles away, each needing a friend, were connected by a helium balloon. It's one of the, you can see it on YouTube if you want, the girls talking with each other when they're older and how it happened and what it meant to them. They're still friends after many years. How did that coincidence happen? Well, that's a tough one. But one of the questions I want to ask Scott is, how does meditation enhance coincidence experiences?
Thank you for that, Bernie. Meditation is a process where we can raise up our vibrational level so that we can begin to match the kind of communication that can happen while in these expanded states of awareness. One of the things that I really work on here at the Institute is developing people's sense of intuition, so that when they put out a desire, a request, very often that there'll be this message that will come back in the sense of intuition, and it tells you to turn left, go into this bookstore, pick up this newspaper article, turn on the radio station just now because it has some information for us that we need in order to answer the requests that we have. And so developing intuition is one of those key factors for how do we increase coincidence in our lives? How do we get our answers back?
Yes.
And
yes.
And there's an art to it because with every kind of communication that we get from our higher selves, it can show up as a metaphor that we're reading about, or in puns, or happens all the time for me I hear a song and all of a sudden I'm listening to the lyric and I go, that's it. That's the answer. We talked today already about birds showing up and what they represent, but all animals have that ability to communicate with us. For me, I have a particular thing that happens, which is every time when I hear Pachelbel's Canon in D, I stop and stand still and pay attention, because something important is going on that I need to pay attention to. And it's been that way for 30 years, and it's dead set. It always works. There's something that happens. And so there's this language that we develop with ourselves. So maybe it's this thought that we're having a stream of consciousness, we're thinking about something, and then all of a sudden there's this extraneous thought that comes in. And there's a certain quality to that thought that you recognize as being, oh, this is important. I need to pay attention to that. And that ability to recognize the quality of insight, that quality of intuition, just comes with practice and expecting it to happen, putting it out there, and being able to enter into that dialogue with our intuitive self winds up being that that language that we can develop within ourselves. And at the beginning, when I was doing it, you know, it pretty much had to be a 2x4 alongside the head.
Yeah.
And we all know people that are like that, you know.
Well, you guys from Minnesota need that in your. You need that. Get to pay
well, yeah,
attention.
because we're so cold for 9
It's so cold
months
all
of
the
year.
time. Yeah. And then he goes in the summer. He goes swimming in those lakes.
Yeah, which is why I've now moved to Virginia to take this job. It's a lot warmer down here.
It's a lot warmer. Yeah. I have a.
You can have this 2x4 alongside the head. You know, it's like you have to get sick in order to pay attention.
Yeah.
And over time, you can say, well, I don't need to get sick. I can just pay attention to some of the signals that are coming into me ahead of time.
Doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah, and then the longer you do it, the subtler and subtler these little messages get, and you just start paying attention.
That's good.
And then when it comes up, you go, wow, I picked up the book, I turned right to the chapter I needed to, and then what seems to fuel the whole process is gratitude. Sit there and go, thank you for pointing out that chapter heading. Thank you for that song. Thank you, hummingbird at the window.
Yeah.
It tells me I'm on the right path. It tells me I'm paying attention. So
Yeah.
both of those. You pay attention, and a little gratitude goes a long way.
Okay, good. Now, one of my current questions has to do with the differences between meditation and coincidence awareness. To me, meditation primarily is going inward, and coincidence, as you are beginning to describe it, has us pay attention to what's outside of us, so that we begin to see our minds are much more connected to our environment than we might have thought before. While meditation tends, as we go inward, we go to higher levels of vibration, and so the two, they're not entirely contradictory, but meditation is more inward, and synchronicity more outward, and the outwardness helps us see our connection to our environment in perhaps a different and more direct way than meditation does.
Yeah, I think of the meditation as the practice of raising our vibration so that we're able to access these states where communication takes place more easily. And so it's like a training ground. And then once you're in those states, you begin to recognize them. And all of us flip in and out of these states quite frequently all day long. So it's not like you have to, sit down for 40 minutes and breathe deeply and say ohms and to meditate and to access these states of consciousness. Once you recognize them, all you have to do is recreate the feeling. Yes, okay. And momentarily you can be in these expanded states and get that communication, or the reverse, when communication is coming, it uses those expanded states and you recognize it. Oh, yep, here it is. It's coming in.
Coming
yes,
in.
I would tend to agree with you.
It come in from meditation in the kind of more generic sense. The information seems to come from inside. I'm not sure that's true. Where with coincidences, the information from like the song that you hear seems to come from the outside.
Yeah, the inside part is the connection, and what we know from the work we do here at the Monroe Institute and from my studies of near-death experiences, we are linked to everything. We are part of this unity that is the vibration of the universe. So we are never really disconnected from the environment that's around us. There is a part of that hummingbird that is me. It is made up of the same vibrational stuff that is the universe. And so because we are of the same matter, then communication can happen, and our intentions, what do we like to have happen, or how how we begin to resonate with that desired outcome is so much easier when we begin to understand that we're actually one with the universe, that there's no such thing as being separate from our environment. We are connected to everything. There's this web of life, people, that you've heard about. Well, it's literally true.
Well, I'm talking about two different ways to get to that place. The inner pathway and the outer pathway. So I'm talking about an interim state that is leading in the same direction. What bothers me about meditation sometimes is that the ills of the world can be another thing to be able to be mindful about, and to not you can be compassionate. That's very good, but to just be able to tolerate it, to say, I'm going to go into my meditation state and say that's the way it is, and I will be able to accept it and not be influenced by it, leads to a kind of passivity.
And, for some people that is just fine. For others who want to take a more active stance, it's still that connection that comes from meditation allows us to invite more coincidences and synchronicities into our lives.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we're coming to the end of this segment, and I want to be able to talk about how to improve the number of coincidences in your life in our next segment. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence. I'm your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and this is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, and we are talking with Scott Taylor, who's president of the Monroe Institute.
These coincidences, we are really meant to be. We seem to be able to communicate telepathically without being in the same room.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Synchronicity sisters, emotional twins, each suffering from abusive men and needing to break away. Synchronicity sisters, emotional twins, a one but right phone number dialed put them together. Through similarity, a resonance was thus created.
Now, welcome back. Welcome back to CC with BB. That song's about two women and a phone call that changed one of these women's lives. We are talking with Scott Taylor, the president of the Monroe Institute in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. And we are going to talk about how you can increase the number of coincidences in your life. Go for it, Scott.
All right, thanks. The first part I'd start with is, what do you believe about the universe and how it works? Because having the proper mindset, having the intention that this thing really can work and that we can improve coincidences is critical to how do we increase them or have them at all. And what I like to tell people is that we live in a reactive universe, that the universe is sitting out there and it's vibrating and it's waiting for us to use our consciousness to help bring things into form. So we put out an intention, and the universe tries to figure out a way to bring that to us. And so having this sense of, yes, that is how the universe is created, makes a big difference in your confidence in what it is that you can do. And
that's
so
a very
that,
that's a very, very important idea, Scott. That whatever you mean by the universe, and I'm not going to ask you to define it, but it's something that's I won't. And somebody I read a book. I'm reading a book called The Surrender Experiment, and he calls it "Life is Doing It." And we have different names for it. God used to be the one people use. And walking with God is something that I think I understand from having an experience of being with whatever this thing is around us. But the idea that it is waiting, whatever this is, for our consciousness to make up stuff, to create stuff, is very important. And it's also very important to recognize that some people imagine things that are horrible and want bad things to happen. And that's going on quite a bit, has been going on for a long time. So I'm tuning in fact, writing a chapter now about problems with coincidences. And one of them is making up stuff that is harmful to other people. But that's another...
But it's that stance that we need to take as human beings to understand that it's consciousness that forms what is in our life. And so we need to be aware of what it is that we're thinking,
yes,
and why we're thinking it, and what are the consequences, because thoughts are real things. They are... the stuff that forms the universe. And if I can think way back, I'm sure it was a thought along with breath that created the universe that we live in from whatever supreme being. So it's fundamental to how we work in this universe. And
with that idea in mind,
being aware of what we think
makes a big difference. And being aware of how we think has a lot to do with making more coincidences happen.
Yeah, Yes, it does, because we can be at odds with our own self and have self-defeating thoughts and have self-diminished thoughts, and all of that tends to minimize our experience, because what we think is can literally become true. So let's not go there. Let's work on the discipline of being conscious about who we are at the moment we are being it, and it's Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now. Well, that's it right there.
One of the
What are we
repeated
thinking now? What's our intention? What's our emotion around
one of
where
the
we
repeated
are?
one of the repeated experiences I have as a psychiatrist and psychotherapist is people who are afraid of something happening, and then that's what happens.
Yeah, they bring it into their life. And so there's a real switch that happens when people begin to realize, oh, let's invite in those things that we really want to have into our lives, and to realize that we have dominion over our thoughts. And that is such a relief when people realize it, that I don't have to be under control of anything else. And I'm trying to remember that book out of World War II where he talks about it's not the events that happen to us, but how we respond to those events.
Oh, that's an old Greek idea. Epictetus came up with that. It's not the events, it's how a person thinks about it. The same idea, and that's the foundations of cognitive therapy. It's been around a while, but as you help people at the Monroe Institute, when people come to visit you there, recognize they have free will. Let me say that word or phrase over their own thoughts. How does that help increase coincidence frequency?
Because free will is this idea that we can invite into our lives all kinds of things that would help us reach our full potential, to help us achieve the goals that we want, to help us to be happy human beings with wonderful relationships. And that those influences from society or family or well-meaning friends that really don't have a clue, those kinds of energies we can just let drift by us. And all of a sudden now we have this sense of agency, this sense of dominion, that there are things that we can do in our lives that can help make our lives better by being present, being positive, being loving, whatever the qualities that you would like to have in your life.
And how can this skill be learned? Come to the Monroe Institute. Come to the Monroe Institute.
Yeah, come to the Monroe Institute. Exactly. Well, it's true. It helps to have mentors. It helps to have somebody who you can talk over these things with in a way that has a language that you both understand. It helps to have people in your sphere of influence that are of like mind, so that you are mentored in what that means for people. And I think it's just helpful in general to practice being aware in the moment, and to watch those times of the day when we flip into the future and flip into the past. It's a discipline. It's a path of consciousness that takes a while, but it pays off in so many different ways, about not going into the future and worrying about what's going to happen, or being regretful of the things that happened in the past. The only thing that exists is right now, and our stance in the nowness that we live. So
one of your
that's what I recommend.
One of your messages that's pretty clear, I hope for our audience, is that we need to learn to pay attention and recognize the messages that we get externally and the message we get internally, and be able to refine our sensitivity so that we can select the ones that we need to pay attention to, because they have information for us that can help us develop.
And those messages are all around us all the time. The universe is conspiring with us to create the life that we would like to have happen. And our ability to watch what happens, observe, feel, remember, all of the things that we do to be here in the physical world are cues for us to help us develop coincidence.
And we don't have too much time left. And one of the questions I'm going to still be left with is the people like the Koch brothers and other very wealthy people are taking the clues that they're looking for to create the world they want to have. And that's one that isn't love and compassion except for those who are like them. And we're not going to have time to discuss it, but maybe some other time. This important question right now in world history is how do we combat, let me say, their use of visualization with our own ideas of how things should be. So we've been listening to the X-Zone. You've been listening to Connecting with Coincidence on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Our guest has been Scott Taylor, who is the president of the Monroe Institute. Thank you, Scott.
Able to communicate telepathically without being in the same room. Whoa, whoa.
With a passion for divination, Cooch Daniels, lifelong professional reader and author, invites you on a mystical journey on the Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show. During her time with you, you'll meet visionaries, readers, energy lightworkers, and healers who work with the tarot and other oracles. As a psychic guide, Cooch Daniels will be seeking to discover both New Age and traditional methods to deepen your mutual understanding of how you can further awaken your intuition and abilities to work with your divinatory channels. Cooch will end each hour of her show answering your questions and a meditative contemplation for prosperity, well-being, and good fortune. Join Cooch Daniels and her guests on the Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show at www.xzbn.net, and you can always email Cooch at mysticarts4you@yahoo.com. That's MYSTICARTS, the number 4, @yahoo.com. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com. or www.xzonetvchannel.com, or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.